And oh, we got an epic review for y'all coming up. You gotta stay tuned. You gotta subscribe to check it out. We got that Canon EOS M50. We got it. Retails for about 600. You know, we got that. We got that EOS M50. You know, but what you gonna versus that against? What you gonna versus that against? You know what I'm saying? We got something else too. We got that Sony A6400, baby. That's what we gonna do for y'all. We gonna do a little versus. Da, 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 la da da da, la da da da, la da da da. All right, it's your boy Chris with Expert Bowler Gaming. I am the Expert Bowler, and I'm back so we could talk a little bit about this Sony A6400 versus this Canon M50. So just to give you a little background about me, I've never really been into photography or videography. I never had a camera before. The only reason I actually even looked into buying a camera like this was because I had watched a lot of YouTube, and I used to look at some streams on Mixer and Twitch before I actually started streaming myself. And I always used to like the people who had the cameras, and the people who had like good cameras, and their video looked good. And I was like, man, you know, I wish I could do that. So I kind of looked into what it took, and I started to, you know, build a list and invest a little bit into starting a YouTube channel and live streaming. I've only been doing it about a year now, but in that year I've learned so much, and I want to share some of those things with you. This video is not sponsored. I bought these cameras with my own money. Everything I say is kind of my experience with using these cameras over the limited amount of time. I'm not a photographer or a videographer. I've never been into those things. I solely picked these cameras up because I wanted to get into content creation. I wanted to make some YouTube videos. I wanted to live stream. And from what I saw, the quality was the best with a camera like these cameras, the mirrorless cameras, over a webcam. And the portability and being able to do different things, whether it's vlog or take it outside and shoot a YouTube video versus buying a webcam, which would be stuck to your computer, was something that was of interest to me. Let's talk a little bit about some of the similarities between the Canon M50 and the Sony A6400. Both of these are compact sensor mirrorless cameras. They both have like similar sensors as far as like the megapixels. So the Canon has a 24.1 megapixel sensor, and the Sony has a 24.2 megapixel sensor. The Canon shoots at 10 frames per second. The Sony shoots at 11 frames per second, virtually the same. They both do 4K, although the Canon has a cropped 4K, which means that when you use 4K, the image will be closer than what it will from the uncropped image from the Sony. Both of them have Wi-Fi, and you can transfer and do stuff over Wi-Fi to like your phone or a tablet. Both of them have 3-inch flip screens. The Canon actually says it's 3 inches, and the Sony says it's 2.95 inches, but that's close enough to 3 inches for me. The Canon screen actually flips to the side, which I think makes it a little bit easier when you want to put attachments on your camera, like say like a microphone or anything else, a monitor or anything like that. Whereas the Sony actually has a flip up screen. So it actually comes up on the top of the camera, which is kind of a pain because I can't mount my mic on top of my camera and still use the screen, because the microphone I have, it'll actually block the screen, which kind of sucks because a lot of times I shoot all of my video by myself. I really don't have any help. And it would be nice to see if you in the frame or kind of what's going on with the video. And you can't really do that unless you get like a relocation mount or a cage where you can relocate, where you put things. They both have pop-up flashes if you want to take photos. I didn't really plan on taking photos, but I actually have used my Canon camera to take photos a lot. I haven't used the Sony camera to take any photos just yet, but I will get into it, and I'll probably make another video just kind of further detailing it if that's something you all are interested in. Just let me know down below in the comments. They both have ports for HDMI, a microphone, and a micro USB. One thing I would like to say is that the Canon does not offer clean HDMI out, but nonetheless, it does have an HDMI port, so you could do HDMI out. Let's talk a little bit about the differences of the two cameras. The Canon M50 retails for a price of about $650 to $880, while the Sony A6400 goes for $999, so basically $1,000, up to $1,299, $1,300. Damn! You'll get one lens. I think it's the 15 to 45, and for $879 you could get, I believe it's two lenses, the 15 to 45 as well as a 55 to 200 millimeter lens. So I think that's a pretty good value, because those lenses, those two lenses, if you bought them by themselves, would probably be about $700. So you could get the camera, which would be the Canon M50, with two lenses for just under $900. I think that's a phenomenal deal. The Sony, on the other hand, comes with a kit lens, which is, I believe, 16 to 50 millimeters for $999, so $1,000. You can upgrade your camera to the kit lens that is 18 to 135 millimeters. And that'll run you about $1,299, so $1,300. I do not believe there's an option where you could get both the lenses, which for $1,300, it would be pretty cool if you can get both the lenses, but hey, the Sony tax, you can't get around it. The Canon camera and the Sony camera have HDMI, the microphone input, and a micro USB. So on the Sony camera, all three of the ports are on the same side. So I haven't tried to plug in like a mic and use HDMI and use micro USB with the Sony A6400 yet. But on the Canon M50, the HDMI and the USB are on one side, and the microphone port is actually on the other side of the camera, right? So two on the left and one is on the right. I actually think I prefer the way the Sony is set up better. I've had times when I've been trying to use the Canon M50 and the microphone port is on the same side that the screen flips out. So sometimes it's like a pain, but let it be known that if you want to plug in an external mic and not use the microphone on the camera on the A6400, you should probably look into either getting a cage or a relocation mount, because if you put your microphone where the shoe adapter is on the Sony A6400 right now, you won't be able to use the flip up screen. But get an adapter or get a cage, which I have a cage for my M50. Anyway, I'll buy a cage for my 6400. It's not a big deal. The accessories are much more expensive for the Sony. You gotta pay the Sony tax. So for instance, I bought the constant power adapter for the Canon. It was about $100. I bought the constant power adapter for the Sony. It was $140. Why is $40 more? I don't know, man. Let's just call it the Sony tax. All of the lenses for the Sony camera are more expensive. Sony tax. They might be better. I don't know. I haven't used any besides the ones that I have. Sony and Canon, if you'd like to send me some so I could talk about them and review them, let me know, because I would definitely like to learn a little bit more and be able to show more to my community. So when you record with the Canon, it does have a record limit. That record limit, let's just say it's 30 minutes because it's like 29 minutes and 59 seconds. I do frequently record events. I bowl. I am the expert bowler. It's not a game. Check my channel. You'll see these 300s and 800s I be bowling. You'll see it's real. But I digress. You know, I do record events, and I would like to have the higher quality of using my mirrorless camera instead of using like my iPad to record events. So I think I would prefer the Sony A6400 over the Canon, just because of that record limit. The Sony does not have a record limit. It can record indefinitely. Let's talk a little bit about the picture, right? Because that's one of the big things. I think the Canon has a good picture. I think the Sony has a good picture. Which do I prefer? I think after seeing both of the cameras and both of the pictures and watching numerous videos and both using them myself, I think the Sony has a more accurate picture. I think the colors are a little more accurate. The shading is a little more accurate, and there's a little more range to the colors as well, where sometimes with the Canon, things could get a little washed out, or the color could look a little pinkish at times. But I think to the eye, it looks good. I haven't had anybody complain about the colors. On my stream, the people actually say they like the Canon camera better than the Sony camera right now. But I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to get the Sony camera set up, because there is a lot more that you can do with the Sony camera. The settings are a little more intricate, and I really haven't had enough time to really like learn all of the things I think I need to know to make this Sony camera look amazing. Autofocus, right? So using the cameras and vlogging and walking around and moving and doing product reviews and shooting video, there are some things that I found that I like and that I dislike. The autofocus with the Canon, I really don't get to use it a whole lot, because a lot of times I shoot like I'm shooting now, where I'm using my computer and I'm recording through recording software like OBS instead of using the camera to record the video and then upload it. When you do that with the Canon, I cannot use the autofocus. Let's just say I wanted to show you all my lens. This is my Canon lens. It is, let's see if I can show you, the 15 to 45 millimeter lens, right? For my Canon M50. And I just like the fact that I could just stick it up in front of the camera like this. I don't have to block my face. The camera automatically focuses. You can read it. It knows what to do. I can put it closer, bring it farther away. The Sony A6400 just does it. And I really, really like that. I think that's going to make shooting a lot easier for me, because I don't have to adjust the focus on the camera to be able to show you the products that I'm trying to show you. So I think when it comes to autofocus, I like the Sony A6400 autofocus a little bit better than the Canon. It has face, eye, zone, autofocus detection, touch the screen, tap it and it'll focus in. You can lock it on your eye and move around, you know, and it works great. Now, when I first plugged it up and I started playing with the A6400, I did have some instances where the autofocus, like I would move out the way and I would come back, or I would try to put things up to the screen and it wouldn't really work right. But I think, you know, those are just like growing pains. I had to learn kind of how it worked and how to use it and what's too close. And sometimes it'll like lock on to something in the background and it'll stay locked onto that. So you'll come back in the picture and it won't really pick you up because it's locked onto that other thing. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. But it has a pretty intelligent autofocus system, the A6400 does, and it works really good. Let's talk about lenses, right? So we talked a little bit about the lenses that you could get that come with the camera, the kit lenses, but what other lenses are available? The Canon has an EF-M mount. So when I looked on Canon website, there's only 8 lenses available that are EF-M. So I do realize you can buy an adapter and you can use that adapter to use the full like line of EF lenses, which there are hundreds of lenses, I think. If you just look at the ones that are meant to fit directly on the camera without any adaptation, there are only 8. Whereas the Sony uses the E mount. And I think when I looked on Sony's website, there were over 30 different lenses that you could get that'll attach right to your Sony A6400 without any adaptation, any adapters or anything. So, I mean, in that aspect, I think the Sony A6400 is a little better than the Canon. Overall, if you want to continue to shoot and grow and learn and create content of various types, for my money, I would choose the Sony A6400. The autofocus, the no record limit, that clean HDMI out, and more lenses that you could have, and the 4K recording without the crop. I just think that the Sony A6400 is the better camera of the two. If you happen to have either one or both of these cameras, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. I learn from you all. I try to hope you all learn from me. I try to share my experiences and ideas with you all. So don't be shy. Get in those comments and share with me. It's the Expert Bowler at Expert Bowler Gaming. We out.